The Draenei are former members of the Eredar race who fled their homeworld of Argus rather than submitting to the corruption of the Burning Legion. They were assisted by the Naaru, a race of sentient energy beings who blessed the Draenei with light-given knowledge and power. The name Draenei means exiled ones, which, seeing as they have had to escape from the Burning Legion twice by fleeing their planet, is a very fitting name. They now reside in the Exodar, which is the ship that took the Draenei from Draenor to Azeroth. Here it crashed upon the Azuremyst Isles, where it has since been repaired and is now fully capable of leaving Azeroth, but it currently serves as a gathering place and functional city for the Draenei. With every race there are those who leave an impression on the story of Warcraft and the characters that we play. In this video, I'm going to count down the top 5 most important Draenei that have either impacted the Warcraft lore or the characters that we play and love. So sit back because we're going on a spaceship ride through the history of Warcraft. Vindicator Maraad is a wandering warrior of faith. Being the first Draenei we see during the Burning Crusade cinematic, he will always be important in that respect. But he has also played a major role within the game, especially during the Warlords of Draenor expansion. Maraad was the one to rescue Garona from Feramor, and revealed that he was her uncle. He explained that Kil'Jaeden had bred Maraad's sister to one of his warriors, which resulted in Garona's birth. He eventually became a founding member of the new Council of Tirisfal, after training Garona's son Madain. Maraad was present during the Northrend campaign, and was aboard the Skyfire ship in Icecrown. When the Iron Horde threatened Azeroth via the Dark Portal, Maraad told Varian that he was present at the time Shattrath City was attacked by the demon-powered Orcs. He witnessed its fall and the slaughter of his people. Tasked with escorting the last group of refugees from the carnage, he turned from his task when he saw an opportunity to claim vengeance. The refugees continued ahead with his assurance they would be safe, but when he looked to rejoin them, he found them all slaughtered. It was this story that prompts Varian Wrynn to command the Alliance to storm the Dark Portal and meet the Iron Horde head-on. During this Draenor campaign, he is defeated aboard Blackhand's warship. His last actions were to protect Yrel, allowing her and Durotan to escape. Nobundo was one of the brave paladins who stayed behind to fight during the siege of Shattrath. During the battle there was an explosion and red mist filled the air. This mist rose up to Nobundo's position and afflicted him. It was here that he was confronted by Grom Hellscream. Nobundo tried to call on the powers of the Holy Light, but found that he could no longer use them. Grom overpowered him and let him fall from the wall, with an ogre below breaking his fall. The wall then collapsed and he was covered with debris. He was awoken by the cries of Draenei woman. As he dragged himself out of the rubble, he was horrified to see the lower city as a dumping ground for the slaughtered Draenei. Unfortunately, his left leg was broken in the fall, and he now had no light powers to heal it with. He also could feel something inside him urging him to escape, to survive for a different, greater purpose. He managed to crawl out of Shattrath and escape to Zangarmarsh. Here he was found by the Draenei who fled Shattrath, but, due to his defamation due to the red mist from the battle, he was exiled from Tel'Rador. The unaffected Draenei called those plagued the Krukul, or the Broken. Some Broken devolved further into the madness of the Lost Ones. Every day Nobundo would walk to the peak of a mountain and hope to somehow regain his mastery over the light. One day his prayer was finally answered, but it was not the light which used to guide him. Nobundo's prayers were answered by the wind. The wind revealed to Nobundo the balance of nature, the powers of the 5 elements and the path of the shaman. He began his training, taught by the elements themselves. Nobundo set out to inform the Draenei of his discovery, but found that most Draenei wouldn't listen to him. However, one Draenei did listen to him. That was the prophet Velen. The leader of the Draenei realised that the way of the shaman as well as the light was a path worth treading, and Nobundo became one of his inner circle. He introduced the shaman's path to the Draenei, teaching all that were willing to listen. the shaman eventually accompanied Velen in the raid to retake the Exodar, the ship which crashed on Azeroth. He now acts as a major part of the Earthen Ring and plays a role in the Shaman class hall in Draenor. Akama was a priest at the Temple of Karabor on Draenor. When the Orc horde attacked, incited by the influence of the Burning Legion, Akama helped as many survivors as he could to flee to Shattrath City. When Shattrath City also fell, Akama was one of those injured by the strange mist that the Orcs carried, and he fell into a coma. When Akama awoke, he was cut off from the light for good, transformed into one of the Crocal, or Broken. Akama followed Nobundo, observing his transformation into a shaman. When Akama witnessed Nobundo calling upon the power of the elements, it gave him the hope he needed. He began to form his own resistance movement, leading the Broken against any who stood in his way. He fought against the Burning Legion, even as the Pit Lord Magferedon took control of Outland. While fighting a losing battle against the Pit Lord, Akama was aided by Illidan's allies, the Blood Elf Kael'thas Sunstrider and the Naga Lady Vash. Grateful for the assistance, he and his followers, the Ashtongue Deathsworn, allied with Illidan, believing they could finally realise the vengeance against the Legion. Nonetheless, Akama harboured doubts about his new master. Although assigned as the jailer of Maeth Shadowsong, Illidan's dedicated enemy, he stealthily worked with her. Eventually, Akama freed Maiev, and together they assaulted the former Temple of Karabor, now serving as Illidan's stronghold. With Illidan's death, Akama swore to once again fill the halls of the Black Temple with light. Without Akama's brave actions, Lord Illidan may still reign atop the Black Temple. Born on Draenor, Yrel was an acolyte of the light, training under the Prophet Velen. She was initially encountered by the Azeroth expedition during their mission into Nan Jungle, where she was being held by the Iron Horde as a slave. Found after she had killed Ankova the Fallen, she joined Khadgar's group. After the destruction of the Dark Portal, she accompanied the Alliance onto the ships of the Iron Horde. She introduced the party to alternate universe Velen in Shadowmoon Valley and helped set up the Alliance garrison on Draenor. Soon after, she helped defeat the Iron Horde in Shadowmoon Valley at Karabor, inspired by the sacrifice of her teacher Velen, who stopped the Dark Star being summoned by Ner'Zhul. She led the Draenei in pushing back the naval threat, securing the Temple of the Light from the siege. She then ventured into Gorgrond, hoping to find artifacts and secrets that could be used to defeat the Iron Horde. Yrel and her group of Rangari fought the Primals until the Genusaur, Ayu, was killed, and the will of the Genusaur was obtained. With the artifact, she led an attack on the Iron Approach to the north. They destroyed the army, including Commander Gar and the Gron Gok. Afterwards, she accompanied Maraad and Thalin as they ventured into Talador to stop the Iron Horde's invasion. She joined Khadgar near Shattrath to plan their counterattack. Eventually, her, Maraad and Juratan attacked Blackhand on his warship. When Talar in Nagrand was attacked by the Warsong clan, Yrel, now a Vindicator, suggested to build a new base for the Alliance. Once the Alliance forces were ready, she led the attack on Gromashar and Garrosh. After killing Dern the Hungerer, she ordered Rangari Dikan to guard the entrance to Garrosh's throne area, where Yrel, with the player, entered and started fighting Garrosh. After returning to Shadowmoon Valley, Yrel was invited by the Council of Exarchs to face the Exarch trial. Once she had completed the trials, Maladar announced her as an Exarch. When the Iron Horde had retreated into Tannan Jungle, Yrel arrived to Lunarfall and met with King Rin. After discussing with him, she travelled to Tannan Jungle to finish the Iron Horde. Once scouting the eastern area and disabling the Iron Horde's machinery was complete, Lion's Watch was established. Yrel finally accompanies Khadgar, Juratan and Gromash as they fight Archimonde alongside the heroes of Azeroth. After Archimonde is defeated, Yrel tells Khadgar that she will help them if needed. However, she is destined to stay on Draenor and see it rebuilt. Now, although not being part of the main universe timeline, Yrel is still very important. she acts as a bastion of hope for the Draenei of Draenor, and leads her people to victory over the Legion in Tanaan Jungle. She is also the main story driver for the Alliance in Draenor, and is a presence in every zone bar for the Spires of Arak. Unfortunately, Blizzard have said that she is not going to venture into Azeroth, and so her importance will remain only in Draenor. The prophet Velen is the leader of the Draenei. A long time ago, he rose as a leader of Argus, the Eredar homeworld, alongside Akama and Kil'Jaeden, with whom he had formed a deep friendship. One day, Sargeras appeared before the leaders of the Eredar, presenting himself as a benevolent entity. He offered to transform the Eredar into an even more powerful race of beings, with the goal of unifying all the races of the universe. In return, they would serve Sargeras and help him in his goal of universal union with every world they visited. Well, that's at least what he told them. Two of the Eredar's leaders, Akama and Kil'Jaeden, along with 2/3 of the Eredar population, took the offer. Velen, unlike the other leaders, had the gift of sight, and was granted a vision by the Naaru Curie of the truth of Sargeras' plot. Sargeras had no intention of unification. His vision was one of death, of razing entire worlds to bare rock and ashes. Horrified, he attempted to warn Akama and Kil'Jaeden, but they didn't believe him. Velen prayed for guidance, and the Naaru Curie appeared before him, reassuring him that his plight had been heard, and instructed him to gather up his followers and go to the highest mountain on Argus. Here, Curie helped them escape from Argus, where they fled to a world they named Draenor. Velen and the Draenei were taken from Argus via the crystal ship that became known by the Orcs as Oshugun. The Draenei established themselves upon Draenor and built the city of Shattrath as their capital. Velen also set up his own private refuge at the Temple of Karabor on the eastern edge of the lands of Shadowmoon Valley. Unfortunately, Kil'Jaeden's agent had managed to locate Draenor. It was after this that Kil'Jaeden appeared to the elder orc shaman Ner'Zhul and informed him that the Draenei were plotting against them. Within a matter of days, the Draenei came under increasing attack from the Orcs, who were convinced that the Draenei were their enemies. The newly established horde, now directed by Ner'Zhul's apprentice Gul'dan, began to assault and destroy Draenei settlements to appease their new master. Velen's refuge at the Temple of Karabor was attacked and defiled by Gul'dan and his new warlocks, who renamed it the Black Temple, and set it up as a headquarters for the Shadow Council. After the attacks increased and Shattrath was taken, Velen and some of his followers went into hiding in Zangarmarsh and established Tel'Rador. Velen and his remaining followers remained hidden over the decades. Aided by the broken Farseer Nobundo, Velen personally led a raid to capture the Exodar, one of Tempest Keep's satellite structures, and attempted to use it in order to escape Outland. The Blood Elves, realising the Draenei's intentions, sabotaged the engine of the Exodar, and as the Draenei attempted to travel the dimensional planes, the reactor malfunctioned, hurling the Exodar and its crew across the twisting nether, until it appeared by coincidence in the world of Azeroth. The ship crashed off the west coast of what is now called Azuremyst Isles. Since then, the Draenei have become an integral part of the Alliance, led by Velen. He has personally trained Prince Anduin Wrynn in the Way of the Light, and helped heal him after Garrosh Hellscream crushed him at the Divine Bell. In Legion, Velen will play a major role for priests, helping them set up their order hall. The Draenei are one of the most important races in Warcraft, playing a major role in the history of the Horde, the Alliance in the Warcraft we know today, and potentially an Argus-themed expansion in the future. These time-travelling space goats have plenty left to offer. Now, that's all from me. Thank you very much for listening. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you all very soon.